What's up, everyone? This is Easy Things to Draw, and this one is gonna be first of. I'm thinking maybe a few different kinds of videos. I've been. Well, let me tell you what this is first. I'm actually showing you footage of me drawing King Kong, and this is gonna. The difference between this one and other videos is this is the uncut, kind of uncut footage in real time. The reason I'm doing this is because I actually had a few people ask me for this. Like, they wanted the non-sped up kind. They wanted just, just straight up watching me draw. And so just because of that, this is going to be a really long video. That's a disclaimer. This is a long video. It takes about 35 minutes or so. And I'm going to be drawing King Kong's upper torso. I should have showed a preview of what it's ultimately going to look like. And I'm going to try to talk all the way through it. It's going to be kind of hard. You're going to be with me for 36 minutes. We'll see what I can, how much I can talk about what I'm doing. Also I'll throw in some tidbits of different kinds. Anyways. Actually, and honestly, this is actually going to be one of the shorter videos, I think. I want to start creating like some of those longer ones, like that sketchbook one. I would love to kind of talk through that. Obviously, there's only so much you can say, but some are going to be like an hour. And we're just going to try this out. I'm going to try the uncut footage for a while. Let me tell you real fast what I'm doing on screen. On the screen right now, I'm using a mechanical pencil to pencil in Kong. And I always use a mechanical pencil. That's just something that I love because it's super clean. It's easy to erase. It's really thin. I mean, honestly, I don't know why anybody pencils in stuff with anything else. So this pencil, like I said, gives me the freedom to, erase easily. I don't really, like I said, I don't really get it. Why people use any other ones. I'm not going to use any value. If I use pure line, I always use this. I always like the thin, fine points on pretty much any utensil. That kind of lends to the pen drawing that I do. When you guys see the pen drawing, I always use the fine point tip on the ballpoint pen. It's got to be fine point. I don't like this thick whatever. I think the fine point can get into smaller details easier. For me, it just feels a lot, like I said, cleaner. So I'm going in there and I'm doing this with Kong here. He's gonna be roaring. The actual sped up version of this I will link below. The sped up version of this is on my other channel, and I'll put a link to it. I speed the whole thing up to, I forget, like 10 minutes or something. So it's by 3 times. I ended up watching this movie last week. I know it's gonna date this video, and I apologize, but I ended up. I used to actually always go to watch midnight movies. Like the week it comes out, at least over here in the U.S., they show the movie midnight the day before, and I guess they didn't make enough of a profit with that, at least within this area, because they kind of stopped it. They completely stopped doing that. Now they just have it the day of, starts at like 7 p.m. And I think they took a lot of the fun that, used to be around. They kind of took it out of there. I used to love going at midnight. In terms of the movie itself, this isn't a movie review website, and I don't know a bunch about movies. So, I mean, my thoughts on Kong Skull Island, I think my thoughts are that is the coolest looking King Kong ever, in my opinion. That is absolutely the coolest looking King Kong, right? Because I remember the Peter Jackson one looked more like a gorilla. Its body type was more like a gorilla. This one, he kind of looked like a mutant gorilla thing, because he would stand on all fours a bunch, like some sort of Sasquatch. And man, I loved it. I mean, I love that design. That design's so good. The movie itself, I think I thought it was okay. I think that was my first impression of it. I thought that was all right. It was a fun, it was a really fun movie. I thought it was kind of dumb, kind of dorky, like, but it was really fun to watch. And the action, I remember the action scenes were so cool. Like, especially, and I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything. This movie, honestly, the movie really has no, big anything. Like, the story isn't too crazy. It's pretty straightforward. But one thing about it was I really liked the fight with Kong and one of those lizard things they show in the commercial, which looked like they're right at a Pacific Rim. I know I heard news that they might combine the Pacific Rim universe with this and Godzilla. That'd be kind of that'd be kind of cool, but I don't know, that'd be a little much, but we'll see. But yeah, overall, I really dug that movie. The movie was really fun to watch at night. I guess it's even in my head a week later. So something I'm doing over here with drawing, I'm going into the lines here more carefully. I'm sorry, not more carefully, but I'm going more carefully than normal. So I've been watching a lot of videos from different instructors and different guys that I admire, guys and girls that I admire in art. And the one thing that, at least for the kind of drawing I want to do, the kind of stuff I consistently see, is I see them really take their time. They're not rushed. I'm a naturally rushed guy. I'm a naturally want to like get through this, get this over with, get this done, boom, next. I have that kind of personality. I have that kind of personality where I just want to get it through, and maybe it's my attention span is slower because of the way we've been conditioned to our phones and news and Facebook, but I think I was always like that no matter what. Even before those things were around, I would always have kind of a short attention span, and I didn't have the patience or something. I wanted that result quick. Like, I wanted it in one fast stroke, because I've seen people do that as well. But it's not always about that. It's about I was going to say, it's not really about getting it done fast. It's about getting it, I mean, okay, so there's some ways, unless you're like at a studio and you have a deadline, but if you're just doing it on your own, getting it done right would be better than getting it done totally fast. At least for me. So I was really trying to take my time and pick my spaces. Really let it permeate in your brain. Let it sink in. Going in the facial features. The reason I'm working on that so at least so slowly is because that's going to be really one of the areas of focus. One of the areas of focus is obviously going to be the face and how angry Kong will look. Or roaring, or I want him to look kind of pissed off. Pissed off is cool, usually. Going into the other side. So one of the things I don't really have when I'm doing this in pencil is I don't really have, as opposed to digital, is I can't really flip the image real quick like I can in digital. Digital, I can flip the image really fast. And that really gives you a huge benefit to all this kind of stuff. Being able to flip it, and I've talked about this before, gives you a fresh eye view on what you're looking at. Going in. Kind of the far side of the face. Got that anger look. I know the anger look is actually one of the few, one of the first things I kind of really put into my Rolodex. Is one of those first few things I wanted in my arsenal was that angry expression. I want to make a video about expressions. It just hasn't come up. I have all these plans for the channel. They're pretty hard to execute, honestly. I've been trying to figure out how to do that. My biggest project currently, and I think I talked about it before earlier in another video, my biggest project right now is actually repairing the websites that connect, just redesigning them, easythingstodraw.net and the other stuff. I'm just trying to completely fix those, and not fix those, I want to make those more user-friendly. Because I was on it and I'm like, this is okay, but this could be a lot better. Going to the teeth. His face is obviously very human-like, because they're very closely related. Onto the lower teeth. I notice if you don't put the teeth in, they look very, very weird. Like, usually that moment when I'm drawing like a mouth yelling, and I don't have the teeth in it, it looks strange. It looks like a Homer Simpson thing. Your eye starts to get fine-tuned to these kind of things, like what is going in where. Also, I want you guys to submit questions below, especially because I'm going so slow on this one. I want to actually gather questions so that I can answer them on the next one. Going to the top of the head. Trying to take care of that fur, that fuzzy head. Also taking my time with that. That's something that I normally just like whoosh through. I just kind of whatever. And also taking care of his ear. It's funny, when you first learn ears, it's kind of like nobody cares. I just noticed that. Nobody cares about the ear. The ears are kind of ugly when you really think about it. And nobody really, I don't know. When people draw them, they just kind of, I don't know, they're not popular. They're not like the eye or the mouth. I guess because it's relegated to the side of your head. Finding his jawline, finding Kong's jawline here. This stage is like the most important stage, and I mean the stage before this. I actually I didn't even notice. I ended up grabbing a pen. It's an ink pen. I believe it is a Micron. I'm not sure. I don't have it on me right now. It's one of these. It's very much like a Micron, but you know what Microns are. Those things are great. Really high quality. It's funny. I actually ended up losing a really important hard drive recently, and I'll tell you this story because I was pretty depressed about it. So I carry this hard drive with me around when I go draw in cafes. Sometimes I'll draw in a cafe, and basically cafes or on different campuses, just to change the setting up of where I'm working, because artwork tends to be very antisocial. So I'll go, or sometimes I'll even take a friend who has art of his own to finish, and we'll sit there honestly for like 8 hours sometimes, just doing work, just doing drawing, just taking care of stuff we need to take care of on the computer. And one thing I always do, like I said, always take that hard drive, and I've thought about what would happen if I lose that hard drive, because on that hard drive was a lot of art, like a lot of stuff, mostly a lot of art, Photoshop files, like the originals for some of them. Don't worry, I still got a bunch left, but I remember it had a bunch of stuff I liked. It also had a bunch of movies and stuff I really liked, and I mean tons of tutorials that I watch were on that. And I ended up losing it. So I'm not losing it, I'm sorry. It was so stupid. I got it from a table, and the hard drive fell. It was an external hard drive. It fell, just hit the ground, ding, and I'm like, that sucks. I hope it's okay. And I found out it was totally broken beyond repair. I took it to the store. They said nope, they can't do anything about it. I found someone off Craigslist, and they said they'd be able to fix it for $180. I tried to get it fixed, and it turns out they can't fix it either. They gave it back to me, and it worked for like a minute, and then that's it. That is a lot of tutorials down the drain. Just a bunch. I was so depressed for like a couple days. And then you hit that acceptance phase, you know, where you're like, well, it's gone, and that's it. I got to move forward. But man, I was depressed. So back to this. When I look at Kong's shoulder, I'm really obviously thinking about like a human shoulder that I've drawn. I'm not thinking about like the monkey anatomy, because the monkey anatomy is pretty freaking monkey or whatever, ape anatomy, whatever, monkey. They're really similar. So I wasn't really thinking about that. When I'm doing this, I really think of a human arm. Like I said, basically the same thing. Pushing in more, and I want that outline there. You know, I really want it to be there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna erase those sketch lines. That always feels good when you go from one layer to the next and you end up erasing your pencil line. To me, that feels good. To me, it feels like, yes, you know, this is so far so good. Now this is turning into like a thing, like it's turning into a drawing. Like if I was just to leave, I'd at least have some line art there, like some ink line art. I'm going into the pit of the mouth, and I'm doing some cross hatching there. So I kind of talk a little bit about this, and I'll probably make a little bit of a video about it later on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, you kind of gain confidence through the drawing as you're moving through it. And that's kind of the way I do things personally. I attack things first that I know how to do, like the face and stuff like that, or you know, whatever it may be. I do that stuff first, and it gives me the confidence to move in and, you know, kind of take care of other parts. And that's just a mental trick I use for myself. There's a few of them. I'd love to hear if you guys have any, because I really want to make a full video on little mental tricks to help yourself out, help your drawing, things of that sort. There is a full program I have for stuff like that, actually, and that is on my website, refinethedesign.com. I don't think I'm going to link it, though. I mean, in the description. But if you just go to refinethedesign.com and go to Art Boost, it's going to have a lot of like mental things to fix to kind of help you out. Going in for the eyes, there is a point in almost any drawing, whatever that may be, that you are kind of noodling around. I've noticed it is a lot of noodling, a lot of fixing, a lot of connecting the lines, a lot of strengthening certain lines, because this is all like in contrast to each other, right? You're dealing with contrast. You're doing one thing for a certain effect. For example, if I put a thick line somewhere, another line's gonna look thin. You know, whatever's next to it, it will contrast it, and that's just the way it is. Going to the mouth, I haven't truly decided where the shadow patterns are gonna be, and that's kind of a misstep on my part. I'm gonna call myself out. I should have really outlined all the shadow patterns at this point. I'm just kind of, but like I said, I'm going in and filling in what I know. There's certain lighting that I've kind of seen a lot because of the life drawing thing I've done. I came up on life drawing. That's kind of where I learned to draw. Life drawing meaning there's like a nude model in front of you for 3 hours. That first school I did, where I learned to draw, that's pretty much all we drew, is that, you know, to draw the human figure. It definitely messes you up a little bit as well. As much as it did teach me to draw and it taught me all that stuff, it kind of puts you in this shell. It kind of puts you in this box where you can't draw anything outside of the human figure, and it's kind of something that even plagues me now. I just don't have as much confidence. I guess there are certain things. There are robots I have confidence with, and there are certain aspects. But it definitely hurt me for a long time. Going to the pectoralis. If you guys saw the movie Kong Skull Island, give me a shout out or tell me about it. And what did you guys think of that movie? Because I should have said that at the very end, but continuing to try to connect things up. I'm thinking of the large muscle groups and trying to connect those. Putting a little shadow under the neck. I'm not really sure how much. Also under the pec. Shoulder. Looking at the deltoid. The deltoid has three parts in it. Although I don't want to talk you to death about the deltoid. And then going to the kind of below the pec, going toward the back. Did I leave? What's going on? Okay, there you go. And like I said, this one I'm really just taking my time, just kind of working it through. I'll try to squint my eyes sometimes too, but to get the overall impression. I think if you do that, it'll pretty much disappear because online. Um, but in person, I tend to squint my eyes a bunch because I want to know design-wise where the darks are going to be normally. That's why I'm surprised I'm going into this head so much. And then just pushing it more, and I just decided to really fill in the back of that black, the mouth. The way also I learned to draw is I was kind of bringing things up gradually in value. I don't always just straight up put in black, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes I do with ink, but right now I'm almost treating this like a drawing. I'm bringing it up very, very gradually. Not really sure how much of the serratus to put in because some of this is covered in fur. Things like the side ab and things like that. I kind of think of like what's going on with that monkey fur. And then even back to kind of backtrack, even toward the point where I'm thinking about what am I gonna do with the hands? Are they gonna be in there or not? And I just decided to vignette them out. And that wasn't because it was like too hard, because I see that a bunch too. People kind of vignette out the feet and the hands. I just did it because I didn't think it would look right, you know, or just the what do you call that? Really, the space just wouldn't look right. He's obviously in shape. He works out. Also, you know, one thing I noticed when I'm watching this completely in regular motion is I leave a lot, or like I just straight up will just take off or something. I don't know what, you know, I'll just sit back and look at it for a while, and then to the outside viewer it'd be like, what? Okay, now I remember why it took a while in this one. It's because I grabbed a different marker. I grabbed a marker actually, and that's actually the marker I tend to use on cute drawings and stuff. It's actually the Faber-Castell PITT artist pen. I can write what it is in the description. Um, but yeah, I was just like, forget this, you know, slow shading in of the darks. So I was like, I gotta put some mass here, like quick, because it was just taking too long. Going here with the neck. Hmm. And then one of the things, especially when you're working with a marker this big, is you're really trying hard to concentrate. You know, not lose concentration, because when you get something that big, I just kind of want to like just splat it all over the place. At least that's what I want to do. So you have to really be aware of kind of how you're using this. Hmm. More of the neck here. It's kind of hard to keep that finesse, I guess you call it, with a bigger marker. That's one reason why I like these fine points. And outlining, kind of going back in with the smaller pen to do that. That is a really common thing, and obviously you should do it. You know, there's only so much you can finesse with that marker, so I go in with the think micron. I think that's what it is. If not just like a micron, you know, that thing. I go in with that again. Going into this kind of abs, what do you call that? The sternum region, or the solar plexus. There you go. Going in to the bicep on the far side arm, deltoid. I'm sure you guys are sick of anatomy by this point. If I I'll link some anatomy videos below that I've done. Go in the face again. It's this constant readjustment. And I've said this a lot too. It's sometimes people say drawing, the essence of drawing would be like correcting mistakes. So you're just putting your mistakes out there and then slowly correcting them to create something better, you know? And I've always liked that. And honestly, that is the way it feels like to me. It honestly feels like I'm correcting my own mistakes. Still trying to take care of that area. Yeah, just putting these little rivets, these little crosshatch marks. I wouldn't consider this like a cross-hatching type of drawing, but I was gonna say there is elements of cross-hatching. You know, wrapping lines around form in very certain areas. And back the neck. His head's causing a cast shadow onto his neck. And I think this is the point where I was like, I don't know. I mean, without taking it, because you have to make a decision. You either go, you choose what direction to go with this. And I was thinking either I go in a wild direction where I, you know, cross-hatch everything, you know, every little form on him and hair, or you just take the shortcut lazy route, which is what I'm about to do, where I grab a marker. I believe that was the marker, right? I'm doing it with. And I put a thick line around something like I would a cartoon, but I'm not doing it as garish as I would with a cartoon. I know with a cartoon, it's this big cartoony freaking line. This one's different. This one I will do it lightly, but it's only so that it'll pop out on the page. And I'm using it with a purpose. But it's still lazy, you know. Plus, we only got, you know, a certain amount of time in the day here. Going right here up the upper shoulder. And like I said, for this, I'm going around the contour line. And I'm trying to be careful of that too. If you see me do contour lines before on, not so much in pen, but if you see me do them in marker before, I tend to just glob that thing on, like, you know, just big thick line. This one, I'm trying to be more careful with it because he's got a furry surface to him. Kind of looks like a Yeti right there, you know, like a, because it doesn't look colored in. Anyways, this is close to the end of the video. Please submit questions, guys, because if you did like this, press the like button. If you want to see more just unedited stuff, let me know. But I would like to have, you know, like questions so I can have more stuff to kind of address. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time. Check out the links here and check out the playlist and the latest video. And also, please click on the, you know, check out the links below for different videos that are related. So talk to you guys later. Bye.